Routines and rituals can be helpful to a person with autism in combating the messiness and chaos of day-to-day life. They may provide a calming and relaxing distraction, but at times may interfere with the person's ability to join in with day-to-day activities, and at times may also be distressing. Clinicians need to understand that routine and predictability is really important, particularly when planning clinics. Making small adjustments such that the clinic starts on time, that people turn up when they say they're going to turn up, and that there are no cancellations without much notice. Such small adjustments to clinical practice can make a huge difference to a person with autism.
Routine is so much a part of my life that things that, in order to be done, take a break from my routine, are a real problem for me. Routines, if we're talking about OCD tendencies, routines become part of a burden, but whenever you get repetition, you will also get variation. If I go to the same cafe or pub every evening for several months and I sit in ideally at the same table and things, that seems, yes, it's quite a fixed routine, but to me every visit to that place is individual. I can't remember who wrote it, but one of the textbooks on autism, people with autism lack spontaneity. And I think, yeah, but in some ways it's the opposite. In some ways there's too much spontaneity. I feel I need to check these things again. I feel I need to tense my muscles again. Just because I've done these things millions of times before doesn't make the singular experience any less. The other thing is, if I go to the same cafe every evening and have the same drink and things, it's not just because I was there the previous night or the previous 70 nights. It's because every night that is what I want to do. But when I go through phases of going to a cafe in the morning on the way to work, well, the whole thing of regulars in cafes is different in the morning because you see lots of people the same time every day, probably having the same drink, and they don't, to me, not that I'm really paying that much attention to them, but they don't, to me, suggest autism. But yeah, if someone else is at the table, the same table that I always want in a cafe in the morning, the mature thing would be to just sit down at the nearest table or something, but that just further reminds me of how out of joint the world is at that moment. I just get a coffee to take away and I walk to work at what feels like the wrong time, and I feel a bit sort of not right for a while. One of the things before I became aware of autism really that would sort of puzzle me, I think, why don't I do this when it comes so naturally to everyone else? Basically, everything I need in the day, I buy that day. It just never occurs to me to maybe to shop in a bit more organised way, so I didn't have to go every day. It just never occurs to me. Just living in student houses when I was 19, I was going to think, why can't I imagine and prepare for tomorrow? I remember as a child, supermarkets just felt almost violent to the senses. There was one where it was to do with the scent. I don't know whether it was some kind of cleaning agent, what it was, but it was, I felt like I was being poisoned, you know. And the sounds as well. So the sound and the smell of supermarkets have always been distressing to me. So I tend to go to, and this isn't necessarily good financially, although ethically it has its merits. I go to local small shops and I know when they're quiet as well. So if I need something from the supermarket, like, you know, fresh coffee and things, that is actually a bit out of the routine. I know where to go for that. For daily things, I just go to the local small shop, yeah.